Before we get into the video, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I mean, come on, what are you doing if you're not subbed to me by now? My content is fire, from stop motions, news videos, reviews, music occasionally. All my social media accounts are linked down below, and now, let's get straight to it. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the stop motion review on Studio Series 86 movie Commander Class Ultra Magnus. I know this is a controversial release, being that he's a commander class, pretty much $100 after tax, but I'm here to tell you that this figure is glorious. He is worth every penny. This is the best mainline Generations Ultra Magnus we have ever received. Tons of nice sculpted and painted details all over this guy. He's just clean and chunky and big in hand. Not as big as some of the other commander class figures, but in terms of accessories and parts count, he definitely makes up for it where he lacks in size, and he just looks so accurate to the animation. Now, taking a look at his head sculpt, it is just so clean looking. That light piping is glorious. It just pierces right through your soul when you look at those bright blue eyes. The sculpt is there, the paint is nice, the side profile, it looks so commanding. I get it, commander class. The back of the head sculpt, there's some issues in terms of the design for me personally that I'll get into a little later on in the video, but it's still decent in terms of how the light piping works. He comes with these nice two blasters that are done in clear and white plastic and painted this purplish silver color, and there's some really dope sculpted details on these. In hand, they look good, a tad bit too small for my liking. You know, this guy's called Ultra Magnus. He's big and bulky, leader of the Wreckers in certain incarnations, so I wish he came with maybe like a big Gatling gun, or just, you know, like big commanding looking guns. I use that word again, commanding. But anyway, there, you could store these on his back. There's two clear plastic ports. There's two different tabs on his back meant specifically for each of the guns, and they port in just like that, and it looks pretty nice in my opinion. And in terms of the missiles, you could remove the missile itself, which is awesome. You can plug in some blast effects in there, which I'll show off in a little bit, and you can remove the rocket launcher itself, and it's just a 5mm peg. Taking a look at the rocket launcher sculpt, there's no paint on there, but the sculpt is there, and there's pretty much no paint that you would really need to put on there. It's just white and red, so pretty clean. And in terms of plugging in the blast effects, that's how that looks, and I just love that you can remove the missiles. I've been wanting that on a Generations Ultra Magnus for so long. And he comes with blast effects that are reused from, I believe, Siege Omega Supreme, and he came with Kingdom Rodimus too. So if you've been collecting for a few years, you know all about these blast effects, but they're done up in this nice orange translucent plastic, and each and every one of them are painted with this gray, smoky gray type color, so they're really utilizing that paint budget here and with the commander class with these blast effects, and they look nice. They could split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different pieces, and them being plugged into each of the weapons. That looks great. Man, so cool. Some more features and accessories he has. He has a matrix chamber and a removable matrix. When you open it up, it's spring-loaded, and these two flap sections flip open. They're done on clear plastic, so just be careful with those. But the details inside, the sculpted and painted details, are so sick. Oh man, like it's this glittery paint. It just looks so cool, and you could flip those side pieces back so you could open up the chamber even more, so you could have that look going on, which doesn't look too bad either. And of course, you can remove the matrix, and you could see some extra little mechanical details and some more of that glittery, I don't know why I can't say that word today, glossy paint there and sculpted details. So cool. Taking a closer look at the matrix, it is the same exact sculpt as the ones that we've been getting for the past few years that came with Optimus and Rodimus and Hot Rod, so there's not much new there except for brighter paint. And on the back of it, there's still that 5mm port, so you can plug some blast effects in there for lighting our darkest hour effect, which looks pretty cool. And another feature this bad boy has is he could come apart with his limbs, like what happened in that one scene in the movie. It's pretty tough. It's on like these super tight Combiner Wars-esque joints. It's really hard to go into. Like, you gotta flip up the arm like you could see here and slide it out, and putting it back in is just as hard, so I don't really like to do this too often. And you could do the same thing with both of the legs. Same sort of connection tab there, and it's a little bit easier with the legs, but still hard to do and still hard to put back in. It's an alright feature. I could live without it, but the fact that they included it, again, utilizing that Commander class budget, is very nice of them to do so, and it does look kind of cool depending on what stop motion or toy photography display that you do.
Articulation time!
Now for some size comparisons, let's bring right in Siege Megatron and 86 Voyager Ironhide, and that looks pretty decent. Still think we need a new G1 Megatron. And for the last of the comparisons, Armada Optimus and G1 Optimus. So yeah, he's a little bit shorter for Commander class, but again, the engineering, parts count, and accessory count more than enough makes up for it in my opinion, and he does look really cool next to G1 Optimus too. So let's talk about some negatives with this figure. So first up, the clear plastic in the head sculpt. Almost the whole ball joint is made up of this clear plastic that is for the light piping, and I don't know how this is going to age over time with that ball joint being for the head. Yeah, that's weird. The ears being a separate accessory that could just pop off with a 5mm port is annoying because they can sort of pop off super easily when you're transforming him or just fiddling around posing the head sometimes. So I don't like that at all. I wish he had an ab crunch. You know, this is a Commander class figure, so it would have been nice if they could build that in, but due to the transformation, I can understand it. The butterfly joint, man, I don't like how that looks at all. I probably will never be using this, or very rarely, because look at that. That looks so weird. And the guns themselves being casted in mostly clear plastic, at least they had enough sense and used the budget to make the handles out of solid white plastic, so they knew that the tolerance with the clear plastic wouldn't last over time. But the fact that they made those tabs for the back of the figure in clear plastic and the rest of the guns in clear plastic, that's a big no for me. And Hasbro, why didn't you add any slagging ratchet joints in these heavy, bulky ass shoulders? Like, look at this, it's super loose. I don't know what they were thinking just making those pinned on friction joints. Yeah, absolutely terrible.
Transformation time!
And the final product for the truck mode is actually really cool. There's some issues that I do have with this that I'll touch a little later in the video, but it is really nice how this comes together. The transformation itself is pretty decent. Some tabbing issues that I really don't like with this thing, but all in all, some awesome sculpted details, some cool paint where it is. I mean, it's pretty minimal. It's G1 Ultra Magnus, what do you expect? But the way everything conceals is very clever and smart, except for the head, it just sticks out, but the way they did it, it's not not, you know, jarring. Can we just take a minute to appreciate that they actually did clear plastic inserts instead of making the whole front of the truck clear plastic? Oh my god, yes Hasbro, please do this more often with Deluxe Class, Voyager Class, and Leader Class figures. It's absolutely fantastic, I love it, one of my favorite engineering tricks on this figure. And the fact that all 5 wheels on each side of the truck mode are pinned in, painted silver, and sculpted nicely is fantastic, again utilizing that Commander Class budget. You can rotate the cab around and it does separate from the trailer, and you get the separate cab section and it doesn't really look that great from the back, a little wonky, but it isn't as bad as some other truck formers we've had in the past. And of course, in classic Ultra Magnus fashion, you could plug all the rocket launchers and guns on the trailer and it looks very cool and menacing. Oh yeah. And of course he is a car carrier, so you could open up this back section and you could fit in about 2 Deluxe Class Transformers like so, and that does look really cool. I probably should have done the top rack first, but you could flip it down on that ratchet joint for the shoulders in robot mode, and you could place another 2 Deluxe Class Transformers and probably 1 Voyager Class, 1 Leader. So all in all, that does look great. You could store 4 Transformers on there, pretty decent for today's size class. And for a quick size comparison, here he is next to Earthrise Leader Class Optimus, and that does look really cool. I'm so happy to have these 2 G1 bots together in modern era. Now, some tolerance issues in terms of tabbing and the transformation for this guy does result in some stress marks. You know, the tabs right there and some of the hinges that you could see in the pictures. I guess it's just, you know, it just comes with some of these newer figures these days, but it is annoying, so just be careful of that. Don't manhandle this figure, just be careful with those sections and tabs because it is very tight depending on your copy, so yeah. I still wish we just got solid plastic with the windows painted. I mean, this is an animated figure and not a live action figure because you could just see a bunch of robot junk in there still and it really doesn't look too great. But all in all, I know the big question surrounding this guy, is he worth the Commander Class price point? And I'd say yes. He's not a perfect figure, he's got some issues with him, with tolerances and just the way he's engineered in certain places, but all in all, I think he's worth the price. He's probably the best Generations mainline Ultra Magnus we've gotten, and maybe the best we're ever gonna get. So yeah, if you guys get the chance to pick this guy up, definitely do so. But that concludes it for my stop motion review on Commander Class Ultra Magnus. Let me know down in the comments below what do you guys think about this figure. All my social medias are linked down below: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. My email is also down below if you guys want to message me about business inquiries, or if you guys want to commission a diorama from me, because I make dioramas for people for their toy photography, stop motions, or just their regular display shelves at home. Message me and we could work out a deal. But yeah guys, thank you for watching this video. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye!